Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Evan Schneider and welcome back to another video. Today in this video, we're going to be talking about this little guy. This is the Hollyland Lark Max wireless system. This video is not sponsored by Hollyland, but they did send me this kit to review for free. Right now I'm recording this audio with one of the transmitters and it's recording to the onboard storage on the transmitter. I'm also wirelessly monitoring the audio using the receiver. I could plug this into the XH2S, but I figured it would be a little bit more useful to compare the two audio sources. So this is the audio from the camera using the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus, and this is the audio coming from the Hollyland Lark Max transmitter. From the files that I've gotten from the transmitters, I've brought them into DaVinci Resolve. I've boosted the audio to a normalized level, and then I've actually brought it into Fairlight and I've applied a bit of a compressor, and then I've also EQ'd the audio to make it sound a little bit better for my voice. So this is what the sound sounds like straight from the transmitter, and then this is what it sounds like with a few other post-processing and effects on it with the compressor and equalizer to make it sound a little bit nicer. But right now I'm going to talk about some key features and specs of the Hollyland Lark Max wireless system. So first of all, in the set you get two different transmitters and one receiver. The two transmitters automatically pair to the receiver, and the receiver can be plugged into a camera using the 3.5mm connector into the microphone input, but you can also easily connect it to a phone or your computer or your laptop. The receiver also has a 1.1-inch OLED touchscreen. On the receiver you have controls to record in mono or stereo if you're using both mics, or you can have it record a safety track on the receiver. Each mic features studio quality audio with what they call max timbre technology, which is basically a way that they've made the mics in order to cut out unwanted tones. The transmitters and the receiver both fit into a charging case, and with this charging case you have 22 total hours of use time. This means you have 7.5 hours of use for each transmitter, and the receiver can go for up to 9 hours, but you can also plug in the receiver. Once your transmitters go out, you can put them back into the charging case and charge them up to use again. The receiver also has a headphone output for monitoring. They really set you up with everything you need, and it all fits inside this carrying case, which is just so small and so easy to bring around and know that you're gonna have good audio wherever you go. So the transmitters are actually really small and lightweight. I like the feel of them. They feel very solid in the hand, but not too heavy. And each transmitter you can see has a little clip on the back that you can use to clip it onto clothing or a jacket or a collar. And then also it has this little magnet that you can take off and you can put a shirt in between it and then easily stick it back on and you have it connected to your shirt. The transmitters also have a microphone input on them, so you can actually plug in one of Hollyland's Lav Mics, and when you plug it in, it automatically goes to recording the Lav Mic on that unit. It has a power button, and then it also has a button for the environmental noise cancellation, so you can control that right on the unit. And then on the other side, it has a button for recording. So on the transmitter, you can actually set it to automatically start recording on each unit when you take it out of the charging case, or you can control it on here. Each transmitter has 8 GB of onboard storage, which enables you to record for up to 14 hours on each transmitter. And after each shoot, I can just take the files off and then clear it out, and I know that I'm not gonna miss anything on the transmitters. I really like the shape of the Hollyland transmitters, and it has kind of a matte finish, which is really nice. I think it's a little bit skinnier than the DJI mics, kind of same form factor, but these are just really small and compact, and I really like the look and feel of them a lot. All of the settings on the microphones can be controlled using the receiver. You don't need any sort of external app or any other programs to set the settings and to access other settings. You can adjust everything from mic level to output level. You can set the safety track. You can set it to record mono or stereo if you're using 2 microphones. You also have the ability to set the EQ preferences, and I love the fact that I don't have to use any sort of app. I can just control everything on this itself. The noise cancellation on these mics, which Hollyland calls environmental noise cancellation, is actually pretty impressive in my opinion. And I went to the highway down the street for a little bit of a sample so you can see what it sounds like on these microphones. All right, so I am literally walking across a highway bridge right now with a busy freeway underneath. And right now I do not have noise cancellation on, and I'm gonna turn it on right now. So this is with environmental noise cancellation on, and hopefully it sounds a little bit better, blocks out some of that traffic noise. And there's literally a ambulance going right behind me. Let's see what this sounds like, going across the bridge. That is very loud. I would be very impressed if that canceled out the noise. I think it's a great tool on the fly. In my opinion, I would rather record the full signal in 24-bit 48 kilohertz and then use some sort of tool in post to remove the noise to my desired level. A lot of people record the audio by clipping it to your shirt, and this is probably what I would recommend. If you're using the magnet clip, I would try to keep it still high. Like, I've seen a lot of people clip the magnet like down really low, and I think that just results in not as clear audio. So you want to make sure you keep it up high. A lot of people talk into the microphone like just by holding it like this, and I'll switch to this mic and you can see that the audio I'm recording sounds a little bit more clear, but it's kind of more harsh sounding. Like, it's kind of fun for social media, and I definitely agree, like, holding a little microphone is kind of fun and it gives you something to hold on to and it makes you feel more comfortable. But this is what it sounds like when I'm talking into the microphone, just holding it up to my mouth. And then this is what it sounds like with the microphone just clipped to my shirt. So I think it's a good in between to not get super harsh sounding audio. And recording it like this gives you a higher chance of peaking the audio, and you're gonna get some wind pops when you say P or B. You might get some pops on the microphone, or S. If wind gets into the microphone, it's gonna be a little bit harder to record the sound. This is what it looks like with the windscreen on. It's kind of funny. But I'm gonna talk into it with the windscreen. So this is me holding this microphone, talking into it with the windscreen on. And if I wanted to attach it to my shirt, okay, so this is the audio from the microphone with the windscreen on it. And then this is the microphone that is clipped to my shirt with no windscreen attached. And this is what they sound like. This is the lav mic that comes with the actual microphone, and it just has this right angle connector with it. So let's see what this sounds like. So this is what it sounds like with the audio going from the lav mic into the transmitter and recording on the onboard transmitter. And this is what the audio sounds like on the transmitter that is using the built-in microphone. So this is the lav, and this is the built-in microphone. You can hear that the lav mic has a little bit of a different sound, but it definitely gives you a more discreet option. The one thing that I would say is that if you're having your talent put the transmitter into their pocket or something, if you're using the lav mic, you just want to be careful that the signal isn't blocked by their body. I know that sometimes if someone turns around, their body blocking the signal can make it cut out even if they're kind of nearby the receiver, but you always have the onboard recording if you need that. It also has 820 feet of transmission from the transmitters to the receiver. In my personal use case, I'm never going to be standing that far away from the camera, but it is cool to have the option to have someone be extremely far away from the camera and still be recording the audio from that. So all of these mics record in 24-bit 48 kilohertz quality, which is basically an industry standard for high quality, kind of studio quality sound. Now, I think this brings up the question, do you need 32-bit audio on these systems? It kind of comes down to a couple different factors. We know that 32-bit audio has the ability to protect you from peaking and basically gives you the ability in post to bring down those peak levels so that you're not clipping the audio. Now, this is especially important if you have an audio source that's kind of unpredictable. I think another kind of aspect you have to think about is the signal to noise ratio in the microphone you're using, because since these have a 70 decibel signal to noise ratio, on the transmitters, when you bring it into your editing program, the sound actually looks pretty kind of quiet in your editor. The beauty of the signal to noise ratio on these microphones is that you can actually bring up the sound level quite a bit without introducing any noise from the actual transmitter. So basically this allows you to record in a lower setting so that you can bring it up in post. And on the receiver, you can adjust the input level and the output level. And so anytime I'm recording, if I know that it's kind of more unpredictable, I can just bring the output down or the input down to protect myself from those peaks. I think it's just something that you need to be aware of and make sure you monitor your audio in a proper way. If you're recording sound just to one of the transmitters and you're not using the receiver, you can get the audio off of the transmitter by simply plugging it in via the USB-C on the bottom of the transmitter. You don't have to download any app, it's just all right here on the receiver and the transmitters. So it's really easy to use. So I'm just going to describe a few different setups that you can use with these microphones that I think are pretty cool. So the first way is that you can just use one of the transmitters. You can just clip it onto yourself, make sure it's recording on the side here, and then just start talking. And then once you're done, you can simply just unplug this, plug it into your computer via USB-C, get the files off, and you're good to go. The second thing you could do is to use the receiver and to plug the receiver into your camera. The camera is syncing the audio and video at the same time. And if anything peaks, you can use the backup recording on this transmitter to fill in any of the gaps. The third option is you can plug in a lav mic into the transmitter. You can use one of Hollyland's lav mics, or you can use another one. And it just has a 3.5mm connector here. It is not threaded, so you do have to be a little bit more careful. In my opinion, I think it's an okay trade-off. The other thing you could do is you could actually attach the transmitter to a shotgun microphone or a boom mic to create a wireless boom mic. And you just clip this to the actual boom mic, and then you have a wireless boom mic. You could also plug the receiver into a sound recording unit. So these microphones do not have timecode ability built in. And I think in this use case, you don't really need timecode unless you're syncing multiple units together. If I wanted to sync the audio from this into the camera, basically what I would do is, since I'm in such close proximity, the camera and the transmitter are recording the same audio. So in my editing program, I can simply sync the audio using the waveform, and it syncs perfectly on its own. If I know that I'm going to be far away from the camera, what I can just do is give a clap at the beginning and a clap at the end of the clip, and that gives me sync points and peaks in the waveform file to sync the audio before I go out of range from the camera. So in that situation too, I don't need timecode to sync the audio. The other situation is if I'm recording from the receiver into the camera, the receiver is piping the same audio into the camera as the transmitter is recording. So in that case, it's extremely easy to sync the audio, and you don't even need to unless you have a section where it went out of range or you peaked on the sound and you want to use the backup recording. Most people, if you're buying these microphones, you're going to be able to sync it really easily in another way. And you just have to think about your workflow before you record the audio to make sure that everything is synced. I think right now the market for wireless microphone systems is pretty competitive, and companies are trying to figure out different ways to put themselves ahead of the competition. I think Rode with timecode and 32-bit float audio. I think what sets the Hollyland mics apart is the fact that they're really easy to use and you don't need any external apps or programs. And also the fact that the case is separate from the charging case, which gives you more options in terms of how much gear you want to bring along with you. And what I like about these is they actually sound pretty nice just out of the box. It makes it super easy. The DJI mics are kind of bare bones in my opinion. They just come with a little pouch that you have to put everything in. So this system I feel like strikes a really nice balance between cost, features, and usability. And I think that's why it's one of my favorite wireless systems that I've used. If you're interested in the Hollyland Lark Max Duo, you can use the link in my description to check out and learn more about this product. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comments. I try to respond to as many as I can. I also sell LUTs and video presets on my store at lutcompany.com. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.